Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Chairman Powell and Secretary Yellen for being here. Yesterday, it was reported that the regional Federal Reserve Bank presidents in Dallas and Boston are resigning, following earlier reports that they were actively trading their private investments while the bank was intervening in the markets. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, many experts have underscored the importance of maintaining the independence of the central bank. Independence, of course, is necessary before the pandemic, after the pandemic, during the pandemic. Even though neither serves now as voting members of the Federal Open Market Committee, this is a blow to the image of the central bank, serving as an impartial and independent agency charged with maintaining stability in pricing and employment. Chairman Powell, what immediate actions have you taken to ensure the impartiality of the Fed, and what systems already are in place failed here, and how do you plan to fix them going forward?
So we take our need to sustain the public's trust is the essence of our work. We want them to public to understand that we're working for all Americans, so we don't like to be having these concerns raised. It's really something that's very, very concerning. So as soon as I learned of it, I directed our staff to undertake a review of our practices. We've had in place a set of practices around investments and trading and disclosure that seems to have worked for a long time, only it's clearly, it's really not working now. And we understand now that we need to modify our practices, and we're in the process of creating ideas and recommendations for that. That's one thing that we're doing. We're also looking carefully at the trading that was done to make sure that it's in compliance with our rules and with the law.
But the rules seem to have broken down. Do you think there needs to be any changes in the trade?
Yes, I'm 100% sure there is a need for those, and there will be. And I don't know precisely what they will be, but the appearance is just obviously unacceptable. And even if, as appears to be the case, these trades were in compliance with the existing rules, that just tells you the problem is that the rules and the practices and the disclosure needs to be improved, and that's what we're working on. We will rise to this moment and address this forthrightly.
I agree. Confidence in the central bank is essential, and I look forward to working with you on this issue, and also working with Chairman Brown, who's working on legislation. Let me change topics. I'm a strong advocate for working in middle-class families, and we successfully pushed to include an expansion of the Vital Child Tax Credit Program in the American Rescue Plan. I think it's really important, as some folks are talking about this $3.5 trillion package, that what we're talking about here with the child tax credit is a tax cut. And that doesn't get said often enough. I think it has something perhaps to do with a kind of attitude about working people, ordinary people, poor people. That's what it's a tax cut. That's right. And experts say that this tax cut would cut child poverty in half nationwide. And 97% of families with children qualify. So this is about lifting the burdens of our neighbors. If made permanent, this tax cut for families would push poverty in a typical year down below 10% in 47 states, including Georgia. Secretary Yellen, should Congress make this program permanent? And if so, what kind of long-term benefits will this have for our nation's economy and families?
Well, we certainly would like to find a way to make it permanent. It's a very important support for children and their families. We saw just after one payment that the share of families reporting that there wasn't enough to eat in the household dropped by 24%. And it's clear that families are spending this on their children for clothing, for food. And, you know, the security that our children have, whether they grow up insecure in families that don't have enough to provide for them make all the difference to their success in life. So this program that will provide a steady source of income, along with other supports in the sort of Build Back Better agenda, including 2 years of preschool childcare support. I think these are critical investments to make sure that families with children can support them and they can succeed in their lives.
You said they've used the money to buy things like food, I believe you said,
Yes.
clothing. What, in your estimation, is the impact of that on the economy, in a consumer economy? Does that help or hurt?
Well, of course, it's positive. It supports spending in the economy that creates jobs in the process.
And what would be the impact of adding mandatory work requirements if we extend this and made it permanent?
Well, we wouldn't be in favor of mandatory work requirements. The truth is that the vast majority, over 90% of families that receive this assistance are working, have workers, and you have, in addition, grandparents, for example, who are no longer in the workforce, or people who are disabled, may not be working and can't work, who are also getting support that they need to take care of children.